Hi, welcome back to the Petersen Automotive Museum YouTube channel. I'm Jonee Eissen, Associate Curator here at the museum. And today we're going to look at and talk about probably the most iconic movie car of all time, the 1968 Mustang GT. This is the stunt car from the movie Bullitt. When people talk about the greatest car chases ever filmed, nearly every conversation begins with Bullitt. But why was the chase scene from Bullitt so significant? Well, it completely changed the way Hollywood filmed action. For nearly 10 minutes, audiences were taken on a ride unlike anything they had ever seen before, in a sequence that became the blueprint for every car chase that followed. What made the scene revolutionary was its commitment to realism. At a time when most Hollywood productions relied on rear screen projections and studio tricks, director Peter Yates and his team filmed on real streets. Lightweight cameras were mounted directly onto the cars, on bumpers, near the wheels, and over the driver's shoulder, putting audiences inside the action. For the first time, viewers could feel every vibration, every movement of the car's suspension, and every violent bump as the cars launched over San Francisco's hills. The realism didn't stop there. Every slide, every gear change, and every near miss happened for real, creating a level of danger and authenticity that had never been captured on film. And then there was the sound. Remarkably, the entire chase contains no dialogue and no musical score. Instead, the soundtrack is nothing but roaring engines, squealing tires, and aggressive gear shifts, making the experience feel almost documentary-like in its realism. More than half a century later, the Bullitt chase remains one of the most influential action sequences ever filmed, a landmark moment that proved authenticity beats illusion and forever changed the language of cinematic car chases. So we're going to do something different today. Instead of just having me prattle on about this incredible car, we're going to bring out the owner and restorer of the Bullitt Mustang, Mr. Ralph Garcia. Ralph, thanks for coming and thanks for letting us display this amazing car. So first of all, what is this car?
Well, first I'd like to say thank you for inviting us. Yeah, this car was in the actual movie Bullitt, one of the two Bullitt cars,
Right.
With Steve McQueen. He drove this car in the streets of San Francisco. According to our study and our people, the car did all the stunts, the jumps, burning in reverse. This is the car.
Right. This is the car that went over the hills.
This is the car that went over the hills. This is a car that they really took a beating to it.
Right.
And it was pretty beat up, really bad. It was basically destroyed. It was sent to the recycling because it was just in bad shape.
Right. Now, for many years, people thought this car had been crushed and was probably just scrap metal.
Right.
But you found it. And tell me, how did that happen?
Well, it was a gentleman by the name of Hugo Sanchez. He found it and brought the car to me so I can restore it and make it into, turn it into an Eleanor, because that's what we do for a living.
So you have a shop, and
yes.
One of the things you do is make Eleanor replicas or clones.
Correct.
Eleanor, of course, from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Right.
Irony of ironies that the stunt car from Bullitt would turn into a replica Eleanor.
Correct. It came so close. We ordered all the parts. Parts came in.
Right.
Right before we were gonna touch the car, we had a talk. He said, you know, Ralph, I believe it's a very special car. And I go, of course, all cars are special. And he said, no, I really do believe it's the actual Bullitt car. And I go, oh, okay, sounds great, you know? What do you want to do? And he said, well, I want to continue, but now that it has an Eleanor, now I want to do a Bullitt car.
Right.
And
so what happened was he ran the car's VIN, right?
He ran the car's VIN, and it came up as one of the Bullitt cars.
Right.
The 558, the stunt car.
There were two cars.
There was two cars. There was a 558 and 559. Right. 559 was, they call it the hero car because it was a car that it was just for pictures and videos. And this is the car that did the jumps, the chase.
Right.
It got all the beating towards the end when it ends in the dish. This is the car. I saw a couple things on the car that didn't look right. Like the trunk, it had a hole on the driver's side rear wheel well.
Right.
There was a hole there, and there was also a lot of hoses around the gas tank, which later on, when we ran a Marty report,
Right.
Kevin Marty confirmed to me that it was the actual Bullitt car from the
Right.
movie.
And Kevin Marty is the keeper of sort of all the Mustang records. He's
Yes, he's the only one in the world
Yeah.
that has all the records.
He has pretty much every VIN of every
Every
classic
event
Mustang.
from every classic Mustang from 67 and up to 2012, I believe. I'm not sure the years. So once he ran the report, he said, "Can I come and see the car, Ralph?" And I said, "No, you can't." He said, "Why not? It's in bad shape. Let me make it look presentable so you can come and see it."
Right.
And he said, "No, don't touch it." And I say, "I'm sorry, I am going to touch it." And
Now, what kind of condition was it in? Now,
it was in very poor, bad condition.
right.
We
It-
had to do a lot of work on it.
and it was in a backyard. It was someone's
You
backyard.
know, yes, people call it a junkyard, but it wasn't a junkyard. It was actually somebody's backyard
In Mexico.
in Mexico, right?
And speaking of it being a long time, what year was that?
That was back in 2016.
So it's been 10 years.
It's going to be 10 years in October.
Wow.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
been a decade. It's going to be a decade already.
Right.
Yes, it's been a
And
long
you
time.
did a complete ground-up restoration using all original
All
parts.
original parts, NOS,
Right.
and it's been a challenge. We're 95%, we're not 100%, we're only 95% right now, and we're still
Yeah.
searching. and-
Searching the world for these original
for
68
original
Mustang
68
parts.
code-dated,
Yeah.
matching
Right.
to the car.
Right. And the reason that you did it that way was you really kind of didn't have any choice, right? The car was in such a derelict state
Yes.
that there was sort of nothing else to do but restore it back to original.
Right, that was
But-
the right way of doing it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you've left some remnants of what make this car unique, of what some of the things that they used because it was a movie car, right? You've got
Right,
some camera
like
mounts in
the
there.
camera mounts, the dents. It has the dents on where the fold downs at, where the jumps, it did the jumps.
Right.
If you go under the carriage, you'll see the dents.
Gotcha.
I didn't touch those.
And that hole in the wheel well is still there.
That hole in the wheel well is still there. I
and
didn't
so
touch it.
what was that hole for?
That hole was, from what I understand, I heard so many different stories. That hole was for the generator they had in the back, for the exhaust of the generator.
Right,
For,
because
to
they
run
had
the cameras.
because they had cameras and some lights
Eh,
in the car.
Correct. So that exhaust, that was like an exhaust
Right.
for the generator. I heard some
Right.
other stories. It was for the smoke machine.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Speaking of which, when the tires are smoking in some of the shots, when it goes around a corner, that's not actually the tires smoking. That was a smoke machine that was installed in
That
the
was
car.
a smoke machine. Yeah, exactly.
sort of,
So I heard so many different stories.
Yeah.
So we left it alone. It's
Yeah.
there. All the hoses around the gas tank, they're there. The lower balance where the backup reverse lights go,
Uh-huh.
it's actually they were covered.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Interesting. Yeah.
and they were not covered nice.
Uh-huh.
They just, like they did something very quickly for the movie.
Right.
So we left that alone. That's still there.
Right, right.
Yes.
And this car was heavily modified by a man named Max Balchowski, who was a famous car builder here in LA, who built race cars.
Very popular guy, Max, and there was also another guy named Lee Brown.
Uh-huh.
He's the one that actually he owned the shop, and they work at his shop for both Mustangs. And he's the one that had a pole, still has a pole, that he made the dents on the car.
Right, to make the car look like a detective's
Like
car,
a
a car that's
detective
been,
car.
it's lived a life and been through a few
couple
bumps
dents
and
here and
scrapes.
there, and,
Right, right.
and he's willing to do the dents for the new buyer.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going for that. Unless the new buyer wants it, we can always hire Lee Brown. He'll use the same pole and put the dents on the car. So that's one thing with Lee Brown, and of course Max. I wish Max was around.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I would have got so
I'm
much
sure he has some
information
stories to
from
tell.
him.
And what kind of modifications did Max make? Now, he had to beef up the suspension because this
Yes.
car was jumping over hills.
Correct. He actually went with Coney shocks which back then the Shelby used the Coney shocks.
I
He
see.
reinforced the shock towers. So those are reinforced.
Right.
And then I heard he did some suspension on the rear, which I didn't see nothing when I got the car.
Interesting.
So I left it alone. So
Right.
I went with original stock suspension.
Right, right.
And which it was actually provided by a very well-known restorer, one of the best in the country, set by Craig Jackson, the owner of Barry Jackson. His name is Bob Wilson. He actually provided my whole suspension from front to the rear.
Interesting.
So we had a lot of people work on this car. It was not just world-class performance in the 558 group. We had people from the outside that actually helped us put this car together.
Well, Ralph, it's magnificent. It's so impressive to see this car in person. When we first saw it, when it first rolled off the truck, there was just something about it where you knew this wasn't a replica. This was really the car that we saw in the movie. And I think that's a tribute not only to the work that the guys who originally built this car did to it, but also your incredible restoration work.
Yes, also just to mention it, Steve McQueen requested for both Mustangs to have the Shelby steering wheel.
Right.
And then on the 558, he requested this driver's side mirror, which it's a little bit different. It's not a Mustang mirror. It's like a European mirror, but that's what Steve McQueen requested. Also on the 558, he requested a Shelby, a wooden Shelby logo on it, on the knob. So it makes it look very different from 559 and any other Mustang. So we did a two restoration, two things. One, it was original, and then we had to go to movie specs.
Right.
The turn signal, it has one of those little weird lights on it.
Yeah, I noticed that's very unusual. It has the two red lights on
The
the
little
end
two
of it.
red lights on it. That's the way it was in the film.
It's awesome. Now, one thing I noticed is that there are no Ford badges on it. There are no Mustang badges on it.
No.
And
That was all requested by Steve McQueen.
Right.
To remove all the Ford logo badges.
Yeah.
And do just
I had heard that he sort of had some argument with Ford where he wasn't happy that they wouldn't provide the cars for free or something. And so he was like, well, if they're not going to give us free cars, we're not going to help them advertise them. We're going to take their name
Oh, that's
off
what
the
it was.
car.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but that was one rumor that I heard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
interesting.
great.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think the Dodge Charger, which is the bad guy's car, the car that this is chasing,
Yes.
does say Dodge on it and say Charger, because I think Dodge was much more friendly to the production
More
company
than the production company
than
than the
Ford, for
Ford.
whatever reason. But it's become an iconic Ford. When people think of Bullitt, when they think of great movie chases, they think of a Ford Mustang. So
Yes.
I think Ford did fine.
Did fine
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. Awesome.
Well, thanks so
Yes.
much for talking to us, Ralph.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
inviting us.
This car is going to be on display in the lobby and then up in our Hollywood gallery through the end of the year. And it's really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see one of the all-time movie icons, the '68 Mustang GT from Bullitt.